Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe my TikTok page. Thank you so much. So with that, our quarter for week 8 objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to one, recall the range, mean deviation, variance, and standard deviation of a sample statistical data. Two, calculate the measures of variability of group sample data. And three, cite real-life applications of the measures of variability. Ito yung kailangan nyo matutunan or ma-master this week. So with that, let's recall. Pag sinabi natin measures of variability, this is simply describes the spread or scatteredness of the individual observation around the central tendency. So we are talking about the group data for the measures of variability. We have the range, mean deviation or the average deviation. We have the variance and standard deviation. Okay, kailangan ma-recall nyo yung definition niya dun sa ating previous week. Yun yung week number 7 natin. Pakipanood lang po. Okay, so with that, let's define. Pag sinabi natin range, this is simply the difference between the upper limit of the maximum interval, mag-add lang tayo ng 0.5, and the lower limit of the minimum interval, magsusubtract naman tayo ng 0.5. Okay, so ang formula natin for the range, that is R is equal to upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. So let's have example para makita natin kung paano siya ina-apply. So we have the age of the students given the interval and the frequency of each interval. So meaning to say, to solve the range is simply write first the formula and di ba hahanapin natin muna yung upper limit. Ano ba yung upper limit natin? Yun yung 19. Magpa-plus tayo ngayon ng 0.5. And yung lower limit naman natin dyan is 8. Magsusubtract naman tayo doon sa 8 ng 0.5. Kaya 19 plus 0.5 minus 8 minus 0.5. And then that will become 19.5 minus 7.5. Kapag sinubtract natin yan, ang range natin ngayon ay 12. Yun po yung kung paano mag-compute ng range for the group data. Next, number 2. Dito naman sa number 2, given the height of students in the centimeters and the frequency of each interval. So meaning to say, to solve the range, okay, write first the formula, upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. And di ba, identify muna natin ano ba yung upper limit. Yun yung 135. So magpa-plus tayo dyan ng 0.5. Ano naman yung lower limit? Yun po yung 111. Mag-minus tayo ng 0.5. Therefore, that will become 135.5 minus 110.5. Kapag sinubtract natin yan, the range now is 25. Okay, ganun lang po kung paano mag-compute ng range for the group data. And okay, let's proceed now to mean or the average deviation. When we say average deviation, this is the mean of the absolute deviation from the arithmetic mean. Okay, so the formula for the group data, we have this. MD stands for the mean deviation, is equal to summation of the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation divided by N. Okay, dapat alam natin yung mga bawat name ng part of the formula. F is the class frequency, X is the class mark, X bar is the class mean, and N is the total number of frequency. So with that, meron tayong tinatawag na kung paano nga ba mag-interpret sa mean deviation. The larger the value of the mean deviation, the greater is the spread of the distribution about the arithmetic mean. What does it mean? Ibig sabihin yan, kapag mas malaki yung nakuha nating value ng mean deviation, mas spread siya. Or it means to say, hindi siya reliable. Kapag meron tayong mga kino-compare, ibig sabihin kung sino yung nakuha natin mas maliit yung value, mas consistent or mas reliable siya kasi mas maliit lang yung value natin sa mean deviation. Okay, so with that, let's have the steps to solve the mean deviation of group data. Step 1, find N, meaning to say add lang natin yung frequencies natin. Step 2, solve the class mark. How are we going to get the class mark? Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. And step 3 natin, find the product of the frequency F and the class mark and add. Okay, so then, step 4, hanapin muna natin yung mean natin. Okay, then, after that, step 5, get the absolute deviation between each class mark and the mean. Ibig sabihin niyan, kung ano yung nakuha natin dito sa mean, iso-subtract natin doon sa bawat class mark. And step 6 would be get the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation then. At ibig sabihin kung ano yung nakuha natin sa step 5, i-multiply natin sa frequency. Tapos i-add natin. And then step 7, i-apply na natin yung formula for the mean deviation of group data. So that is the formula. And with that, let's apply. So calculate the mean deviation of age of students given the interval and the frequency. Okay, paano nga ba mag-compute? Mag-a-add lang tayo ng 4 columns and complete the table. And of course, use the steps to solve the mean deviation of group data para masundan natin. Okay, so ito yung table natin. Mapapansin natin, nag-add tayo ng class mark, yung product of the frequency and the class mark, absolute deviation, and the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation. Okay, so kailangan natin makompleto to para mahanap natin or para ma-substitute natin yung kailangan lang natin doon sa formula for the mean deviation. So with that, okay, first, di ba, step 1 natin, hanapin muna natin yung total frequency. Add lang natin, that is 5 plus 8 plus 3 plus 4. That is equal to 20. To find the class mark naman, ibig sabihin niyan, di ba, class mark is equal to lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Ibig sabihin, dito muna tayo sa 8 to 10. Okay, ibig sabihin niyan, yung lower limit dyan yung 8, yung upper limit is 10. I-add lang natin, then divided by 2. Kaya nga that is, yan, yung naka-circle na violet, that is the lower limit. Yung green ay the upper limit. So meaning to say, 8 plus 10 divided by 2, that is our class mark, 9. Ibig sabihin niyan, 8, 9, 10. Ano ba yung nasa middle number? Kaya nga siya class mark, 9. Okay, next, 11 naman plus 13 divided by 2, that is equal to 12. Yun yung class mark. And next, 14 plus 16 divided by 2, that will become 15. And 17 plus 19 divided by 2, that is equal to 18. Yan po yung class mark ng bawat isang interval. And then, kapag nakuha na natin yung class mark, makukuha na natin yung nasa column number 4, which is the product of the frequency and the class mark. I-multiply lang natin yung nakuha natin yung class mark doon sa bawat corresponding niya na frequency. That is the solution. We have this 5 times 9, ito yon, that is equal to 45. And 8 times 12, that is equal to 96. And 3 times 15, that is equal to 45. And 4 times 18, that is equal to 72. So kapag na-complete na natin yung product of the frequency and the class mark, kukuhanin natin yung tinatawag na summation or sum. Ibig sabihin, i-add lang natin to. 45 plus 96 plus 45 plus 72, the summation or the total now is 258. Okay. So, and then, paano natin malalaman itong absolute deviation? Okay. Kailangan muna natin hanapin yung mean. O, di ba? To find the mean, the formula is get the summation of the product of the frequency and the class mark divided by n. Since meron na tayong value that is 258 divided by 20, so substitute lang natin. And that will become, so ang mean natin or the average is 12.9. Ibig sabihin yan, para makuha natin yung nasa 5th column, isosubtract natin yung mean natin na 12.9 sa bawat class mark natin. Kaya nga that is 9 minus 12.9, meaning to say naka-absolute deviation siya. Meaning to say the answer is always positive. Meaning to say take the positive sign of the difference. Kaya nga 9 minus 12.9, that will become 3.9. And next naman natin, di ba, 12 minus yung ating mean na 12.9, that will become positive 0.9. And next, we have the 15 minus 12.9, that will become 2.1. And 18 minus 12.9, that is our answer, 5.1. Kapag na-complete na natin yung absolute deviation, makukuha na natin yung product of the frequency and the absolute deviation. Okay, how are we going to do that? Multiply lang natin. So meaning to say, we have to multiply yung 5, ito yon, 5 times 3.9. Kaya nga, that is the product, 19.5. And then, dito naman, next natin, 8 times 0.9, that is equal to 7.2. And next, we have to multiply 3 times 2.1, the product is 6.3. And last one, 4 times 5.1, that is 20.4. Kapag nakompleto na natin ang product ng frequency at ng absolute deviation, we can now get the summation. Meaning to say, ito total lang natin. 19.5 plus 7.2 plus 6.3 plus 20.4, the summation now is 53.4. Given that, ano ba yung kailangan lang natin para ma-compute yung mean deviation? Ang kailangan lang natin based on the formula, di ba? Yung summation ng product ng frequency at ng deviation or yung absolute deviation natin. Tsaka yung ating n, yun yung total frequency. Kaya nga, that is 53 divided by 20. Yun yung kapag sinubstitute natin. Therefore, ang ating mean deviation ngayon ay 2.67. So, ganun lang kung paano mag-compute. Okay, so with that, let's have another example. Calculate the mean deviation of height in centimeters of grade 7 students given the height in centimeters and the frequency. Ano ba yung gagawin natin? Mag-add lang tayo ng 4 columns and complete the table. And of course, apply or use the steps to solve the mean deviation of group data. So, given the inad natin, no? Di ba? Class mark, product of the frequency and the class mark. So, absolute deviation and the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation. So, first step natin, di ba? Find n. I-add natin to get the total frequency. 3 plus 16 plus 14 plus 4 plus 3. The total frequency is 40. And then, to find the class mark, di ba ang gagawin natin dyan? Lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Kaya nga, the solution would be 111 plus 115 divided by 2. The class mark of this interval, 111 to 115 is 113. Pwede rin siyang ilista mo na 111, 112, 113, 114, 115. Ano ba yung nasa middle mo or yun yung class mark? Kaya 113. Next, we have 116 plus 120 divided by 2. Kaya nga, ang class mark natin dyan is 118. And then 121 plus 125 divided by 2, the class mark is simply 123. And next, 126 plus 130 divided by 2, the class mark is 128. And 131 plus 135 divided by 2, ang class mark natin ay 133. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung class mark, we can now get the product of the frequency and the class mark. Multiply lang natin ito. That is the solution 3 times 113 and 3 multiply, that is equal to 339. And 16 times 118, that is equal to 1,888. And 14 times 123, that is equal to 1,722. And 4 times 128, that is equal to 512. And 3 times 133, that is equal to 399. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung product ng frequency at ng class mark, kukunin na natin yung tinatawag na summation or i-add lang natin yung 339 plus 1,888 plus 1,722 plus 512 plus 399. The total or the summation now is 4,860. Okay, so paano natin malalaman yung absolute deviation? Okay, hanapin muna natin yung mean before we get the absolute deviation. How are we going to find the mean? Okay, so i-divide lang natin yung nakuha natin dito summation sa product of the frequency and the class mark, which is the 4,860 divided by 40 to get the mean. Mean ito ang mean natin ngayon ay 121.5. Ibig sabihin niyan, iso-subtract natin itong 121.5 sa bawat class mark natin to get the absolute deviation. But take note, always positive kasi nga take the positive sign. Meaning to say, 113 minus 121.5, that is the absolute deviation is 8.5. And dito naman, 118 minus 121.5, that is equal to 3.5. And 123 minus 121.5, that is equal to 1.5. And 128 minus 121.5, that is equal to 6.5. And 133 minus 121.5, that is equal to 11.5. Take note, always positive dapat. And then, kapag nakompleto na natin yung absolute deviation, you can now get the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation. Yun nakuha natin dito. Mumultiply lang natin yung 3 dito sa nakuha natin 8.5. So that will become our solution. No? 3 times 8.5, meaning to say that is equal to 25.5. Dito naman, 16 times 3.5, that is equal to 56. Then 14 times 1.5, that is equal to 21. Then 4 times 6.5, that is equal to 26. Then 3 times 11.5, that is equal to 34.5. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung product ng frequency at absolute deviation, we can get the summation or i-add lang natin yung 25.5 plus 56 plus 21 plus 26 plus 34.5, that is equal to 163. With that, kapag nakompleto na natin, ano ba yung kailangan natin? So kailangan alam natin sa mean deviation, we only have to substitute the summation of the product of the frequency and the absolute deviation divided by the total frequency, which is the 163 tsaka yung 40. Kaya nga ang ating magiging mean deviation ngayon dyan, kapag dinivide natin yan, that is 4.08. Okay, naka-round off na siya into 2 decimal. Okay, so gano'n lang kung paano mag-compute ng mean deviation for the group data. So with that, let's proceed now to variance. Pag sinabi naman natin variance, this is the quotient of the sum of the product of the frequency and the square deviations from the mean divided by the number of sample size, which is subtracted by 1. Okay, so ang formula natin for the group data, we have this. Okay, this is the variance symbol. And okay, paano basahin ito? Meaning to say, the summation of the product of the frequency and the square deviation divided by n minus 1. Okay, so for n, so f is the class frequency, x is the class mark, x bar the class mean, and n is the total number of frequency. With that, we have the steps to solve the variance of group data. So step 1, katulad lang din siya, no? Sa mean division, find n, add natin yung frequencies. Step 2, solve the class mark, the upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. And then step 3, find the product of the frequency and the class mark, then add. And then step 4, solve the mean and the deviation between each class mark. Ibig sabihin yan kung ano yung ako nating mean, iso-subtract natin sa bawat class mark. And then step 5, square each of the deviation. Okay. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung nakuha natin sa step 4, i-square lang natin. I-multiply natin sa sarili niya. Ibig sabihin nun. And step 6, get the product of the frequency and the square deviation, then add. Okay, and step 7, compute for the variance. Isa-substitute na natin siya doon sa ating formula for the variance. Use this. Okay, so with that, let's have example number 1. Calculate the variance of age of students. Kung mapapansin natin, same lang yung given natin sa mean division para ma-compare natin. Okay, so given the age of the students, interval, and the frequency, ano yung gagawin natin? Mag-add tayo ng 5 columns. Take note of that. Kung sa mean division of 4 columns yung in-add natin, dito po ay 5 columns. And then, complete the table. And of course, use or sundan natin yung steps. Okay, with that, nag-add ako ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ibig sabihin yung class mark, yung product ng frequency at class mark, tapos yung difference ng class mark tsaka yung mean natin. And then you squared niya, and then the product of the frequency and the squared of the difference of the mean from the class mark. And then, ang step 1 natin, di ba? Find n. Ano ba yung n natin? Total frequency, add lang natin yung 5 plus 8 plus 3 plus 4. That is equal to 20. And to find the class mark, di ba, i-add lang natin yung lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Kaya nga, that is 8 plus 10 divided by 2. That is equal to 9. Okay, then dito naman, we have 11 plus 13 divided by 2. The class mark is 12. Then 14 plus 16 divided by 2, that is 15. Then 17 plus 19 divided by 2, that is 18. Okay, then we can now get the product of the frequency and the class mark. Multiply lang natin to. 5 times 9, that is equal to 45. And 8 times 12, that is equal to 96. Then 3 times 15, that is equal to 45. And 4 times 18, that is equal to 72. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung product ng frequency at class mark, kukunin natin dyan yung summation niya or i-add lang natin. Okay, 45 plus 96 plus 45 plus 72, the summation or the total is 258. And then, okay, bago natin makuha yung nandito sa ating x minus mean, hahanapin muna natin yung mean natin. Okay, how are we going to find the mean? So, meaning to say, i-divide lang natin kung ano yung nakuha natin sa product ng frequency at sa class mark doon sa n natin, which is the total frequency. Kaya nga, that is equal to 258 divided by 20, meaning to say the mean or the average is 12.9. Ibig sabihin niyan, sa bawat class mark, isosubtract natin yung 12.9 para makuha itong pang-limang column natin, which is x minus min. Or plus mark minus min ang ibig sabihin nito. Kaya nga, that is the solution 9 minus 12.9, that is equal to negative 3.9. Take note of that, naging negative kasi wala siyang absolute value symbol. Okay, then sa pangalawa naman, di ba ito yon 12, i-minus natin yung 12.9, that is equal to negative 0.9. Then we have next 15 minus 12.9, kaya ang nakuha natin dyan ay 2.1. Then we have 18 minus 12.9, that is equal to 5.1. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung difference of the class mark and the mean, we can now get the square. Ibig sabihin, multiply natin sa sarili niya para makuha natin yung nasa column number 6. And then we have this negative 3.9 square. Ibig sabihin niya, negative 3.9 times negative 3.9. That is equal to 15.21. Then we have negative 0.9 square. That is equal to 0.81. Then 2.1 square. That is 4.41. Then 5.1 square, mean to say 5.1 times 5.1, that is equal to 26.01. Okay, and then kapag nakompleto na natin yung square, we can now get the product of the frequency and the squared of the difference of the mean and the class mark. Okay, ibig sabihin, i-multiply lang natin ito. We have, okay, so i-multiply lang natin yung ating 5 times 15.1. Ito yung frequency, tsaka yung kanyang square. That is equal to 76.05. Then we have to multiply the second. We have 8 times 0.81. That is equal to 66.48. And then dito naman, 3 times 4.41, that is 13.23. Then 4 times 26.01, that is equal to 104.04. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung product of the squared of the mean deviation, we can now get the summation or i-add lang natin. 76.05 plus 6.48 plus 13.23 plus 104.04. Ang total niya ngayon ay 199.8. Okay, so with that, kapag nakompleto na natin yung table, balikan na natin yung formula natin for the variance. Diba? Ano ba yung kailangan lang natin dyan? Okay, ito yung kailangan natin, yung summation of the product of the frequency and the square deviation. Kaya nga, substitute lang natin yung 199.8, i-divide lang natin siya by 20 minus 1. Okay, kaya, but before you simplify, i-minus muna natin yung 20 minus 1, kaya 19 na siya, yung denominator. Kaya 199.8 divided by 19, kaya ang ating variance ngayon ay 10.52. So, ganun lang kung paano mag-compute. Okay, let's have another for example number 2. Calculate the variance of height in centimeters of grade 7 students. Okay, so given the height and the frequency. Okay, ano ba yung gagawin natin? Mag-add lang tayo ng 5 columns and complete the table. Okay, and then use the steps. Okay, so with that, meron na tayong table. Inag-add tayo ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, ano yung step 1 natin, di ba? Add the frequency to get the total. Yun yung n natin. That is 3 plus 16 plus 14 plus 4 plus 3. That is equal to 40. And to find the class mark, i-add lang natin yung lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Kaya nga, that is 111 plus 115 divided by 2. Okay, that is 113. Then next, we have 116 plus 120 divided by 2. The class mark is 118. Then 121 plus 125 divided by 2, kaya 123 to. Then 126 plus 130 divided by 2, 128. And next, we have this, same process, no? 133. Kapag nakompleto na natin yan, we can now get the fx, yun yung product ng frequency at yung class mark. Multiply lang natin to. 3 times 113, that is equal to 339. 16 times 118, kaya that is equal to 1,888. Then 14 times 123, that is 1,722. Then 4 times 128, that is equal to 512. Then 3 times 133, that is equal to 399. Kapag nakompleto na natin yan, we can now get the sum or the total or the summation. We have to add 339 plus 1,888 plus 1,722 plus 512 plus 399. The total now is or the summation is 4,860. Okay, so then, paano natin malalaman itong x minus mean na ito or yung class mark minus mean? Hanapin muna natin yung mean or the average. Okay, so meaning to say, ang kailangan lang natin dyan, di ba, itong summation ng product ng frequency at ang class mark divided by n. And that is 4,860 divided by 40, meaning to say the mean now is 121.5. Para malaman itong x minus mean natin or class mark minus mean, ima-minus natin yung mean sa bawat class mark. Kaya that is 113 minus 121.5, that is equal to negative 8.5. Then 118 minus 121.5, that is equal to negative 3.5. Then ganun pa rin, 123 minus natin yung 121.5, that is 1.5. Then 128 minus 121.5, that is equal to 6.5. Then 133 minus 121.5, that is 11.5. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung difference of the class mark and the mean, i-square lang natin ito para makuha yung ating next column. That will become negative 8.5 square. Ibig sabihin niya negative 8.5 times negative 8.5. Kaya the square is 72.25. Then ito naman, negative 3.5 square, that is equal to 12.25. Then 1.5 square, that is 2.25. Then 6.5 square, that is 42.25. Then 11.5 square, that is 132.25. Take note, kapag sinabing square, minultiply mo yung base sa sarili niya. Okay, and then to find the last column, i-multiply lang natin kung ano yung nakuha natin dito sa in-square natin doon sa frequency. Kaya nga, the solution would be 3 times 72.25, the product is 216.75. Then another, we have 16 times 12.25, that is equal to 196. Then 14 times 2.25, that is 31.5. Then 4 times 42.25, that is equal to 169. Then 3 times 132.25, that is equal to 396.75. And then, ang next natin gagawin dyan, get the summation or the total. Add lang natin yung 216.75 plus 196 plus 31.5 plus 169 plus 396.75. The summation or the total now is 1,010. Okay, kapag nakompleto na natin sa table, to find the variance, diba, using the formula, okay, kailangan lang natin dyan yung summation of this 1,010 divided by 40 minus 1. Okay, before you divide, kailangan i-simplify natin yung nasa denominator. That will become 1,010 divided by 39. So meaning to say, ang variance ngayon natin ay 25.9. Okay, so ganun lang kung paano mag-compute ng variance for the group data. With that, let's proceed now to standard deviation. Okay, pag sinabi natin standard deviation, this is the measure of how spread out numbers. It is the square root of the variance. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung nakuha natin kanina doon sa variance, i-square root lang natin para makuha yung standard deviation. Okay, kaya nga yung steps natin dito is similarity. Okay, the formula for the group data of standard deviation, S stands for standard deviation, we have the square root of the summation of the product of the frequency and the square of the deviation divided by n minus 1. Okay, wherein F is the class mark, X is the class mark, F is the class frequency, X bar is the class mean, N is the total number frequency. And then, okay, so we have the steps, similarity to sa variance step, no? So step 1, find the N, add lang natin yung frequency. Step 2, solve the class mark, upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. And then step 3, find the product of the frequency and the class mark, then add. Then step 4, solve the mean and deviation between each class mark. And then step 5, square each of the deviation using this formula. And then step 6, get the sum of the product of the frequency and the square deviation and divided by it by n minus 1. And then last one, compute for the standard deviation. We can now substitute doon sa ating formula. Okay, SD stands for standard deviation. Okay, so with that, let's have example number 1. Calculate the standard deviation of each of the students given the interval and the frequency. As you notice, no, parehas lang yung given natin. Sa mean deviation at variance para makita natin yung series niya, no? yung connection. So with that, ano ba yung gagawin natin? Mag-add tayo ng 5 columns and complete the table. Same process with the variance. Kaya ito sa standard deviation. So with that, use the or sundan lang natin yung steps. So nag-add ako ng 5 columns, yung class mark, yung frequency, tsaka yung class mark, yung product, yung class mark minus mean, then square nung difference niya, and then the product of the frequency and the square of the difference of the class mark and the mean. So with that, find first the n. Ano ba yung n natin? Yung total frequency. Add lang natin. 5 plus 8 plus 3 plus 4. That is equal to 20. And to find the class mark, add natin yung lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Kaya nga 8 plus 10 divided by 2, that will become 9. And 11 plus 13 divided by 2, that is 12. And 14 plus 16 divided by 2, that is 15. Then 17 plus 19 divided by 2, that is 18. Then, makukuha na natin yung ating product ng frequency at class mark. Multiply lang natin to. 5 times 9, that is 45. Then 8 times 12, that is equal to 96. Then 3 times 15, that is 45. 4 times 18, that is 72. Kapag nakompleto na natin yan, we can now get the summation or i-add lang natin. 45 plus 96 plus 45 plus 72, that is equal to 258. Kung makapansin natin, paras lang yung given kanina, kaya nga paras yung nakukuha natin para ma-compare lang natin. Okay, and then before we get the class mark minus mean, hanapin muna natin yung mean natin dyan, di ba? So the formula to find the mean is simply i-divide lang natin yung nakuha natin dito product ng frequency or yung summation nila doon sa n natin, which is the total frequency. That is 258 divided by 20, meaning to say, ang mean ngayon natin or the average is 12.9. Ibig sabihin yan, yung 12.9 na to, yung mean natin, subtract natin sa bawat class mark. Kaya nga that is equal to 9 minus 12.9, that is equal to negative 3.9. Then 12 minus 12.9, that is equal to negative 0.9. Then 15 minus 12.9, that is 2.1. Then 18 minus 12.9, that is 5.1. And then, yung nakuha natin dito para makuha natin yung next column, i-square lang natin. Ibig sabihin, multiply natin sa sarili niya. Kaya nga, that is negative 3.9 square. Ibig sabihin niya, negative 3.9 times negative 3.9, that is equal to 15.21. Then we have negative 0.9 square, that is equal to 0.81. Then 2.1 square, ibig sabihin ng 2.1 times 2.1, that is equal to 4.41. Then 5.1 square, ibig sabihin ng 5.1 times 5.1, that is equal to 26.01. Okay, kapag nakompleto na natin yan, yung square ng division natin, okay, meaning to say, i-multiply lang natin sa frequency para makuha yung last column natin. Kaya nga that is equal to 5 times 15.1, ito yung minultiply natin, that is equal to 76.05. Then 8 times 0.81, that is equal to 6.48. Then 3 times 4.41, that is equal to 13.23. Then 4 times 26.01, the product is 104.04. Kapag nakompleto na natin yan, kukuhanan natin yung summation or add lang natin. That's equal to 76.05 plus 6.48 plus 13.23 plus 104.04. The total is 199.8. Kapag nakompleto na natin yung table, we can now use the standard deviation for group data to substitute yung ating nakuhang summation doon sa n. Kaya nga, that is, but take note, meron siyang square root kasi nga standard deviation to. Okay, therefore, we have to substitute, that is square root of 199.8, ito yon, divided by 20 minus 1. Okay, and then, but before you get the square root, no, i-simplify muna natin yung nasa denominator. Kaya nga that will become square root of 199.8 divided by 19. Okay, kailangan muna natin i-divide before you get the square root. Kaya nga that will become square root of 10.52. Okay, so nanggaling yung 10.52, yun yung 199.8 divided by 19. Kaya nga kapag kinuha natin yung square root ni 10.52, ang standard deviation ngayon natin ay 3.24. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung 10.52 kanina ay yun po yung sagot natin doon sa variance. Kaya nga kung makakompare na ninyo, ini-square root lang natin yung sagot doon to make the standard deviation. Okay, so with that, let's have another example, no? So calculate the standard deviation of height of students in centimeters, no? this is the same given. So, let's say na-complete na natin kasi na-solve na natin ito kanina doon sa variance. So, ang variance natin nakuha dito ay 25.9. Okay, di ba? Kung mapapansin niyo, kukunin lang natin yung square root neto para makuha yung ating standard deviation. Therefore, kapag sinubstitute natin yan, di ba, for the standard deviation, SD stands for standard deviation. Therefore, ang square root ngayon ng 25.9 is equal to 5.09. Ito ngayon yung ating standard deviation dito sa example number 2. So, ganun lang kung paano mag-compute. So, with that, let's have summarize the formula for the measures of variability of group data. Okay, we have the range, diba? That is the upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. And for the mean deviation or the average deviation is equal to yan, summation of the product of the absolute deviation divided by n. And for the variance naman, summation of the product of the square deviation divided by n minus 1. And for the standard deviation, the formula is square root of the summation of the product of the frequency and the square deviation divided by n minus 1. Kung mapapansin nyo yung variance, okay, at yung standard deviation, dinagdagan lang ng square root doon sa standard deviation. Okay, so with that, I hope you learned something from this video. And don't forget to subscribe my TikTok page. Thank you so much.